I just saw something terrifying, and what it is confirmation that we live in the Orwellian world of 1984. They live and the Matrix. I'm sure I'm not the only person that's looked at the propaganda North Korea pushes on its people and felt bad for them. The whole time, never really realizing the same thing was happening here. To me, to all of us. Well, what am I talking about, you ask? I'm talking primarily about Google and YouTube taking away your choice to see what you want to see, and instead, to see what they want you to see. The first thing YouTube did was to roll out a policy targeting fake news, and by fake news, they meant pretty much any right leaning channels and content. Basically, if they didn't like what you were saying, no ads, and therefore no ad money. Then, what I discovered starting this channel when I did was in order to put advertising on my videos at all, they have to reach 10,000 views first. So, needless to say, I'm not in this for the money. I don't think I'll ever make money here, and that's fine. As long as my content's seen and my voice can be heard, that's good enough. But that now brings us to GoogleTube's latest rollout. And here is what the New York Times gleefully reports. YouTube has struggled for years with videos that promote offensive viewpoints but do not necessarily violate the company's guidelines for removal. Now, it is taking a new approach. Bury them. It goes on. On Sunday, Google, YouTube's parent company, announced a set of policies aimed at curbing extremist videos on the platform. For videos that are clearly in violation of its community guidelines, such as those promoting terrorism, Google said it would quickly identify and remove them. The process for handling videos that do not necessarily violate specific rules of conduct is more complicated. Now, let me just state that YouTube's community guidelines are pretty strict and have a lot of intentional gray areas. So even if you follow the TOS to the letter, you can still get your ads removed, age restrictions, or even have your video taken down with no explanation. So when someone beats you at your own game, what do? Cheat. Google's official blog states, "Our systems are only as good as the data they're based on. Over the past weeks, we've begun working with more than 15 additional expert NGOs and institutions through our Trusted Flagger program, including the Anti-Defamation League, the No Hate Speech Movement, and the Institute for Strategic Dialogue." Now, it was pretty clear what the agenda was when GoogleTube said it was working with the Anti-Defamation League, who labeled Pepe the Frog a white supremacist symbol. I wonder what could have prompted that. The blog goes on, "We'll soon be applying tougher treatments to videos that aren't illegal but have been flagged by users as potential violations of our policies on hate speech and violent extremism. If we find that these videos don't violate our policies but contain controversial religious or supremacist content, they will be placed in a limited state. The videos will remain on YouTube behind an interstitial. They won't be recommended, they won't be monetized, and they won't have any key features including comments, suggested videos, and likes." We'll begin to roll this new treatment out to videos on desktop versions of YouTube in the coming weeks, and we'll bring it to mobile experiences soon thereafter. These new approaches entail significant new internet tools and processes, and will take time to fully implement. Interstitial. Let's take a look at the definition, shall we? Anatomy. Situated between the cells of a structure or part. Basically, your content will be put into space between negative spaces? I think you can better call this... Okay, so here's what I found really creepy. The post continues. "We've just started rolling out features from Jigsaw's redirect method to YouTube. When people search for sensitive keywords on YouTube, they will be redirected towards a playlist of curated YouTube videos that directly confront and debunk." So basically what he's saying is they're going to decide not only what we can post, But now, what you can watch. If someone doesn't like a video and flags it just because they don't agree with what someone said, now that video vanishes into a black hole. And if you look for that video, you get bombarded with the opposite of what you just asked for. Seems like a great way to drive traffic away. At the time of this article, Google's YouTube makes $4 billion a year and supposedly has not turned a profit yet. Take a look at these articles, including the Daily Mail in 2015. No private company could stay in business feeding this kind of a money pit. So how can YouTube keep its doors open? My guess would be subsidies from certain government agencies. Don't believe me? Here's a few articles talking about it. There's pages and pages of search results. I just picked ones I recognized as being mostly legit. Now here's a great article from Bloomberg in May of 2013. During the 2012 campaign, Barack Obama's re-election team had an underappreciated asset. Google's executive chairman, Eric Schmidt. He helped recruit talent, choose technology, and coach the campaign manager, Jim Messina, on the finer points of leading a large organization. On election night, he was in our boiler room in Chicago, says David Plouffe, then a senior White House advisor. Schmidt had a particular affinity for a group of engineers and statisticians tucked away beneath a disco ball in a darkened corner of the office known as the Cave. The data analytics team, led by 30-year-old Dan Wagner, is credited with producing Obama's surprising 5 million vote margin of victory. So Google helped put Obama in office. Just remember that. So here's an interesting side note. I was searching these topics with Google. I'm on a Mac, and that's the built-in browser on Safari, Mac's native browser. So I see this article on Forbes.com come up, and I clicked on it several times, and each time I got this. Now, I was a little suspicious, so I switched browsers and search engines and performed the search again, and this time, the page opened right up. It was an article on GoogleTube being fined 2.7 billion euros for antitrust. Basically, they were fined for manipulating search results in their favor. Come on. No wonder Google wanted to block the article. On another side note, I was searching a story debunking global warming on my iPhone. As with all Apple devices, that I've owned anyway, Google is the default search engine. When I searched, instead of the debunking article I was looking for, Google gave me pages and pages of pro-global warming articles. I switched to another browser and finally found the article written in 2007. I opened it and started reading, and a pop-up suddenly appeared asking if I wanted to switch to Google. I clicked no, and it switched me to Google anyway. After that, I was back at the page of useless search results, and I couldn't find the article again. At the time, I thought it was just something that happened. But after reading this, and quite a bit more actually, it sounds familiar. This is just the tip of the Googleberg. As always, stay alert, stay awake, and remember, we are the new counterculture.